know, he's a favorite here on Great Day SA. He's author and motivational speaker Sean Adams. He wrote this book called It's Okay to Be Crazy, and he's back this morning to tell us about one of sports and life's most sacred spots, the huddle. You're going to love this concept. Sean, my friend.
What's going on?
Good to see you. It is one of the chapters in the book. First of all, tell us, what is the huddle? What's the huddle?
Well, the way I look at it is I'm a big sports guy. I played football, but I loved the intimacy of the huddle, if you will. It was the only place where you can get black, white, east, west, north, south, rich, poor. You get them all in the same group. You give them all a common goal. You point them in the same direction. Let them bleed, sweat, and tear up together, work hard. And special things start to take place.
Right. So what we want people to understand is whether your huddle this morning is your family or your workplace, there are things to be gained from strengthening the huddle. Why, Sean?
Well, because it's like the home field advantage in sports. There's math that proves that every time a team plays at home, they have a better chance of winning. And that's because you have people around you that support you, you have the encouragers around you, you have a familiar environment. And we need to create that in our lives with our friends, with the people around us. I have a great support structure, my circle of friends, as I call them. I have my family, and you need those people around you. We just usually end up setting ourselves up being around people that are detractors and even toxic energy folks to things we want to do in life.
Now, and you've talked about this on the show in the past, which is, you know, eliminate the negativity in the people. Okay, so you say you need to use the concept of the huddle to give yourself an advantage in life. Talk about that. You said we make the mistake of having goals and desires in our lives, but surround ourselves with people who oppose those. Yeah,
it's the old concept that, you know, my grandmother said, hey, iron sharpens iron. So you got to have people around you that allow you to thrive, that encourage you to grow, help you to develop and evolve. I'm telling folks every day, grow, develop, and evolve. And we have to do that around people that have like goals and want to do those same things. Many times we surround ourselves with people that we can shine in front of. Sometimes we need to surround ourselves with people that can help sharpen us because they're somewhere where we want to be as well.
So, I love that. I love that. So what I hear you say is that people that are going to motivate you into greatness, if you will, or at least a higher level in your life. Okay, so talk about what's in the huddle. You say, first of all, there is strength.
Well, there's strength in the huddle because you have a common group. I think about a picture that I have hanging in my office at home that is the USC football team in the huddle, and they're playing at Oregon State, and everything around them is against them. But there's that strength in the huddle. There's confidentiality in the huddle. We know something that you don't know. We have a plan. And I think that's how we have to treat our lives. Most people are like that with their families. We know something that's going on right here. And even though the storm may be going on outside, inside this huddle, there's a strength, there's a love, there's a fidelity that will give us the strength and the encouragement to keep moving.
And one of the key things that I love so much out of this concept is you say that there is honesty. Now, I got to tell you this, that we've kind of adopted this for our own team, and a lot of times I hear from people in the community and they say, oh, you guys look like you have so much fun. We really have so much fun because it's not just on this show. It continues when we leave here because this staff is really a huddle.
Well, one of the things I look at...
That's true. That's really true.
When I say the huddle is honest, I look at it and say, football, I have a genuine affection for the game of football, but I think it's an honest game. If you can produce, you get to play. And that conversation comes out. And we can't surround ourselves with yes people. It's one of the problems that breaks down pro athletes. They surround themselves with people who have a vested interest in them. So they're never going to get honest conversation because that's the way they eat. So we need to surround ourselves with people that will give us honest conversation. I need somebody, I tease my brother all the time, I need somebody around me that's going to tell me when my slip is showing. And I need people that are going to give me honest conversation that allows me to see where I'm vulnerable, where I'm open, and where my opportunities are to get better. Yes,
I remember an interview, this just came to mind. I remember an interview that David Robinson did with 60 Minutes when he first came to the Spurs. And Ed Bradley said to him, you know, you've got all these people around you and you've got all these wonderful things. You know, what's most important to you? And he said, being grounded. I want somebody to say, hey, you got something on your nose, you better get that off.
You need somebody that will give you honest conversation. And I don't want to surround myself with people that want to make me happy. That's cool sometimes, it makes you feel good, but I need people around me that genuinely care about my soul so that they can always give me honest conversation about where I'm at, where I'm vulnerable, and what I'm trying to do.
So what do you do? This is good. What do you do because we are not perfect people. What do you do when you're in the huddle and you have somebody who's not feeling as confident, somebody who's not feeling as strong, somebody who's not on the track that everybody else is on? How do you then uplift that person?
Well, and that's the virtue of the huddle. Because when you got 11 people in a huddle, and I say 11 because that's a football analogy, then those 10 people can help lift up that other one. And that's where the support and the structure comes from. And I say this all the time. Who we are 5 years from now, the only way we're different from today are the books we read and the people we meet. And that's part of our huddle.
Yeah. And another thing that I love that you say, Sean, is cheer for your teammates, and because you know what drives them. If you're all driving towards the common goal, then you can lift them in a way that elevates them and then consequently elevates the group.
Well, and that's part of the relationship with a huddle, whether it's my brother, whether it's a family member, whether it's a coworker or a business partner. I know what's driving them. I know what they're going for. And if we have that kind of covenant in a relationship, then I know how to drive them.
Yeah.
I know how to tell them, hey, here's what you're trying to do, and here's where you're pointing right now. You may want to redirect. Hey, help me get here. And then it becomes everybody strengthening each other.
I got to ask you this because you've been so successful. I mean, you're a successful sportscaster. You do a lot of traveling. You do motivational speaking. You've written a great book. Have you had people in your life that you had to get rid of because they weren't on the path that you were on, or maybe not as...
I'll be honest. I've had to. Sometimes, and you don't want to do it. But sometimes you have to take an inventory of who's in your huddle. And while it might seem cold, it might even seem calculated, sometimes some folk got to go.
Yeah.
And sometimes the conversation becomes, you know, thank you for doing this. You were sweet to me during this era. I'm headed on a different path, though. I wish you well. I'm going to holler at you later.
That's what
and sometimes you got to do that.
Yeah.
And it stinks. And it does seem cold, but at the end of the day, we have to surround ourselves with people that we can encourage and that encourage us, and it can't be one way.
Sean Adams, right there. Oh, man, that's good stuff. Okay, there's the book. Every time we have copies laying around, they come up missing because everybody wants to read the book. It's a good book. It's called It's Okay to Be Crazy. Are you crazy enough to have everything you've ever wanted? You better be. To purchase the book, this is how you do it. Go to SeanAdams.net, and of course, we'll have this interview for you on our website at kens5.com/greatday. Sean, thank you.